Okay.
Okay, perfect. Okay, good evening. Thank you, everybody, for coming out for another fantastic healthy eating series tonight at Novant Bariatrics Health. So, I'm Chef Q. And this month's theme is Farmers Market Haul. So tonight we're just going to be talking about what's growing, what's going on at the farmers market, how you can utilize all of the great produce that you're going to find, plus some other things that you might see out there, any questions that you all have, kind of how to navigate the farmers market, get the most bang for your buck, all of those things. So I'm not alone.
So nice to meet everybody. My name is Nick. I am one of the registered dietitians here with the Novant Bariatric Solutions Group. Okay. Chef will obviously be on the food preparation side of things. I will be more on the informational side of things. So whatever she's doing, if I have some relevant information that we may benefit from, I'll kind of throw my 2 cents in there. And if you have any questions about any nutrition related information, I'm certainly happy to answer all that.
Excellent.
So I'm the boring person, unfortunately.
It's gonna come a time, probably 2 minutes into this, that I'm gonna look. Let's see. And we're gonna need you.
All right, I'll try my hardest.
Okay, so this month, like I said, is Farmers Market Hall. So we're going to do a veggie fried rice, right? Because what else do you do when you have too many vegetables and you had great ideas for them when you're at the market because everything is colorful? You're like, ooh, I want that and two of those and one of those. Oh, that was only $20. And now it's sitting in the fridge. You're like, what am I doing? What am I gonna do now? Okay, so this one is awesome for the market. I also snuck in a few other ingredients outside of just plain rice. So fried rice makes everybody happy because you can use leftover rice, 1, 2 days old. If it's cold, that's great. If you have fresh rice, that's okay, it still works. It just needs to be cold before you start cooking with it. And whatever other ingredients you have around. So that's why everybody loves it. It's simple, easy. Some ways that we can add to the healthfulness of it, outside of all of the great veggies, obviously, is I took a mixture for my rice. I used half brown rice and half farro. So we use farro, it's been a while. We used farro in a salad once. And I think hopefully somebody might remember, I told you that I'd fake my family out. And I'll say that, oh, I made rice pilaf. And they're like, oh, this is good. Like, did you like it? If I say, did you like something? Then they know, like, what did you put in there? Nope, you already said you liked it. So farro's great, ancient grain, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. Then I have a quick salad, that's black-eyed peas, but really you can swap out any beans. So once we get into the market season and they have the field peas, the limas, the spotted, all the beans, okay, you can swap out and use in this recipe. So you can use canned or frozen or fresh, right? So I used frozen because they weren't quite at the market yet, and I was sad, but they'll be there. So I use frozen, and then you can decide how much salt or not that you put in there, and the other ingredients. So you can flavor it up how you'd like to flavor it up. And then there's lots of fresh veg. We're going to make a salad dressing. We'll talk about how easy that is. And then the third recipe is the zucchini fritters. I did a little spin on it this time. We've done that before, but this time I added some carrot to it, grated carrot. You could also, it's sweet corn season. You could throw a little sweet corn in there if you'd like, but the zucchini, the squash, the carrots, it's all great. So I'll stop talking and start cooking. I'll start with my wok and get it very, very hot, or as hot as I can get.
So one question I've always had is how much of a difference does it make if it's day old rice versus fresh rice versus like a week old rice, let's say? What's the
Yes.
thinking with that?
So it's not at like the starch and when it's day old or a little bit older, it's kind of all nice and locked in. So that when you throw it in the pan, it's not gonna stick as much. When you use fresh rice, because it's soft and it's still a little squishy and that starch is still fresh on there, when you put it in the pan, sometimes it takes more fat to kind of get it to start moving around and do your stir fry. So older rice takes a little bit less fat,
Gotcha.
right? And then when you fry it, you're trying to get a little crisp on the outside anyway. So the older it is, the more, again, that starch being locked in, it helps get that rice a little bit more crispy for the fried rice. And it steams up. There's a lot of science behind using old rice.
And I've also read some research that says rice that's been left in the refrigerator overnight or a couple days, whatever it is, it has a better impact on your blood sugar. It doesn't raise your blood sugar as high. So the more you know. And I'm sure it's because of a similar mechanism to why it may be better for fried rice, let's say.
Yeah,
Something to do with the starch.
correct. It's just kind of that, I don't know what it is about it sitting in the fridge that makes the starch not as reactive, I guess you would say, that
Mhm.
doesn't like spike things up and down so quickly that
Mhm.
fresh does.
Mm-hmm.
But I like it. That's, another reason I like fried rice. Okay. So if you don't have a wok, you should get one. They're very, very inexpensive, very cheap. I think I got this one at IKEA. And you can find them at the Asian market. When you get them, if they're not already kind of black and kind of like cast iron, like sealed in, cured, they come in, they're like nice and shiny. Just got to keep cooking in it. Put the oil in it, just let it cure until it starts to, the more you use it, the darker it will get. And then it starts to become a little bit more non-stick, like your cast iron pans do. The beauty of stir frying or cooking in the wok is that it takes a little bit of fat. If your ingredients are chopped small, that helps because while we're stirring and all of that, everything is cooking quickly. So the whole thing is not going to take that long. So in fried rice, anybody have any food allergies before I start or things that you're trying to eliminate? Shellfish? Okay, safe. Anybody no eggs? Okay, perfect. So I'm gonna put a couple of eggs in the fried rice. That's just gonna help to one flavor, two, a little more protein.
Mm-hmm.
So if you really wanted to just be veggie, and you didn't want to put a meat protein in there, we have a couple eggs. You could just do egg white. If you were trying to kind of avoid some of the extra cholesterol from the yolk, but
I will say about that, there has been extensive research as far as looking at your blood cholesterol and dietary cholesterol, and dietary cholesterol does not seem to impact your blood cholesterol in any significant manner, right? Unless you're consuming extraordinary amounts, that is a different scenario. But if you're consuming a moderate amount of cholesterol, so that would be like a couple of eggs a day, five, 6, 7, 8 pieces of shrimp a day, something along those lines of just moderation, right? It doesn't seem to impact your cholesterol a whole lot. Okay. What actually impacts your cholesterol is going to be saturated fat, right? So that's the fat that you get from typically animal products, right? So fatty meats, whole fat dairy, Actually, coconut oil is pretty condensed in saturated fat, right? So we do need to be careful about that. But in general, what affects your LDL cholesterol in particular is going to be that saturated fat. Okay. But moderate amounts of eggs, moderate amounts of cholesterol don't seem to affect the lipids a whole lot. That doesn't mean a dozen a day, right? We're not bodybuilders in here, okay? But a little bit of eggs is completely okay.
We're back. Okay, so what I put in the wok first, and you saw it was, smoking a little bit. That's what we want. So I'm gonna put it back, kind of medium heat. So that was just a little drizzle of avocado oil. So avocado oil, because it has a high smoke point, that means that you can put it in your pan and let it smoke and it's not gonna burn as quickly. I want that. And then also for the flavor, for the smell, a little bit of sesame oil. So a little goes a long way with sesame.
Yeah.
Okay, so that first part, I'm just making a little fried egg, a little omelet. And then we're gonna chop that up and put it in at the end. Okay. Correct. You can do that on electric, yes. And you just wanna turn it up. On the electric, yes. So on the electric, I would say start at like medium high. It also kind of depends. If you have a newer electric that gets hot really quick, then you can kind of medium. But medium high just to get it hot and smoking like this, knowing that as soon as you put whatever ingredient in next, the heat's gonna go down dramatically. Okay. So next, okay, I think we talked about this before. Mushrooms. So when we saute mushrooms, there's still some fat in there. We want to do our best to let the moisture escape from the mushrooms, right? So a lot of times people will say, I'm not a fan. I don't care for mushrooms. And it could very well be that you don't like mushrooms, but a lot of the times it's that you don't like the texture and that sometimes it's squishy and you're like, oh, no, not for me, thanks. But if you let it saute and start to get color and start to brown, then really the flavor comes out, the texture changes, and it's better.
And if you ever want just the alternative source of protein that's not meat or anything animal-based, mushrooms are one of those proteins, right? So a good source of plant-based protein.
Okay. So because it's a wok, I feel like I want to just keep mixing, but resist. Kind of just let it sit, build up some color, and then we can start moving it around. So we'll see like a lot of steam coming off. You'll know that your mushrooms are starting to get done when you start to hear it squeak, which is weird. So it'll start making a little squeaky sound, and that's like the water being pushed out of the mushroom. So you just want to let it go. Let it cook, let it squeak. So I used a little, it's a little baby portobello, or for me, you can use shiitake mushroom, any mushroom really that you like. Put in there. Not out of the backyard, not those. Definitely not those. Thank you for saying it. Yeah. Everybody's a mushroom forager now. They kind of do not eat those. Okay, so while that mushrooms are doing their thing, I'm just gonna chop up another egg. No, I have it. These. Okay. So a lot of this is just kind of, we cook, we slide to the side our ingredients once they're done. And then we just kind of get them all back in there at the end one last time. So we got some good color on these. Feel great about it. It was squeeze. Yeah, I wish I could put my own microphone so you could hear it. But like when you move it around, it's like squeeze. Hmm? You're- Okay. So we're just gonna put the mushrooms aside. Next, I've got a lot, and this represents all of the things that I got at the market. So I've got some green beans sliced thin. I've got carrots that I just diced up small. Bell peppers because why? Why do I need a red and an orange and a yellow? No, I don't. I don't need all of that. But at the time, I feel like I do. So any of the bell peppers that's hanging around, a little broccoli, all of that. So I'm going to drop my little veg in.
Yeah, I guess the good thing about stir fries, you can kind of use whatever you want.
Yep. And just clean out that fridge.
Yep.
It's also good when you have a combination. So when the seasons start to change and there's not as much at the market, but you still want to do, a little fried rice, freezer section. My only advice is just to let the frozen veggies thaw a little bit. So some of that water will drain off. Because again, whatever you put into this pan, it has nowhere to go. And sometimes it takes long for that water to evaporate. So you just want to let them thaw out a little bit. So I'm gonna add a little broccoli florets. So I cut the broccoli off the top because everybody loves the floret, but nobody loves the stalk. But don't throw that away.
And I will say that in terms of nutrient quality, there is not much of a difference between fresh, frozen, and canned vegetables. Okay. Can't say a whole lot about taste and texture and all that stuff, right? But sometimes fresh for whatever reason, maybe it's not in season, maybe it's not in the budget this week, or maybe it's just not in the time cards this week, right? Frozen and canned are perfectly good options. Okay. So don't shy away from those. And again, can't speak a whole lot about texture, taste, quality, that stuff. But in terms of nutrients, they are pretty much exactly the same. Okay.
All right. So what I put into my mix, I love dash. So I threw a little dash in there. This is to kind of start to season up my veggies. Of course, we'll throw some garlic in there. You can put ginger in there too if you like. But it's nice to play around with the flavors. You can get a little color on the veggies that are in there. Just let those go. So I had the white part of the green onion. Had some of that, so I'll throw that in there too. Okay. And then if it feels like the heat's too high, it's getting too brown, you can adjust. You can also just leave the flame up and just move your wok. Okay. And just kind of keep things moving around. My favorite tool right now. Oh no, where did I put it? There it is. The garlic press. I love it. Okay, don't make a lot of noise. Relax.
You could also do minced garlic, just saying.
Yeah, if you want to use the garlic, absolutely.
The jarlic, that's a new one.
That was, I feel like that was coined.
Yeah,
Class.
the jarlic, that's a good one.
So there are, I think this is one of the things if you were to ask me, like, what do you really look for when you go to the farmer's market? What do you like to get? Garlic and ginger when it's ginger season. It is so flavorful. Like one clove of garlic from the farmer's market feels like 5 cloves of garlic. Like it is that intense in a good way. The ginger is out of this world, is amazing. So there are some things that are kind of like not, you know, like the colorful lettuces and the this and the that and the unique things that they grow. It's the onions, the garlic, the ginger, those things you really taste the difference. Okay, so now my veggies are cooked. I have my pre-cooked brown rice and farro mix. No one will ever know. Haha.
Yep. So farro is pretty similar to brown rice. It's what we would consider a complex carbohydrate. So basically, that's a fancy way of saying a specific type of carbohydrate that is typically less processed and it contains more fiber normally. It may contain more vitamins and minerals. So that's kind of the difference between those complex carbohydrates and something we may call a simple carbohydrate. So like a white rice, a white pasta, white bread, that type of stuff.
Egg omelets. So farro has some protein in there,
Mm-hmm.
fiber. It's like one of the oldest grains known. And it really is neutral. So if you want to cook it with rice, if you want to add chicken stock when you cook it or vegetable stock, it takes on those flavors, which is nice. So hot or cold. The eggs. I chopped up that little omelet and threw it in there. Now it's time for my soy. But I'm using tamari is soy, but gluten-free. And then this one is just a little less sodium.
Still not low sodium, but lower
Less
sodium.
I think like we said this last class, and I was like, I've never picked up a low sodium soy and
Yeah.
use it and be like, this isn't salty enough.
Yeah.
Just use it.
Yeah. A little bit's not going to hurt you.
You won't miss it. Okay, so that was frozen peas that are now thawed. So they're just whole peas now. So that takes 1-2 seconds in there. Okay. So, I mean, I think, we're doing something here. Colorful. Anyone have, well, I did put sesame oil in already, so yes. Sesame seed is not that far off. So, little sesame seed for garnish and flavored. You can use toasted sesame seed if you want to. And then I'm just gonna put a little of the tops of the green onion on the top. I promise you, this will be like your go-to. How do I use these vegetables? I'm just gonna make this fried rice. Yes. Okay, check.
Farro is harder to make than rice.
No, it's not at all. So it's kind of similar to rice. It's 2 parts of liquid and 1 part of grain. So like 2 cups of water or stock. You just have to rinse it before you cook it. It takes about 25 minutes to cook. So you boil your liquid, you put the farro in, you let it come back to a boil, put the lid on it, and then turn the temp down. And then you just let it cook for those 25 minutes, and then that's it. Fluff it up and eat it. That's good. That's a great question. Okay, who's ready? Okay, great.
Yes, ma'am. You okay. Okay.
Hot bowl. Okay, let's, I got you, I got you. I'm ready again. Okay. So, before I forget, I always forget.
No, you're good. Okay, let's try this. Uh, let's see. Figure this out. Okay, maybe not like that. Would be like that. Maybe. Okay. I don't know. Hopefully you can hear from there. Let me know. Is that close enough? All right, back in business. Okay, let's clip that. Okay, back in business. Okay. Black eyed peas, cold, not hot. It's controversial. Let's talk about it. Um, there are some things that, culinarily, I can get people to try. People being my family. Some things I have a harder time than others. This salad is one. Until they tasted it and they were like, okay, I would have never did that, but that works. Okay. So just like beans, black field peas work, they're great because they soak up all of the flavor that we're about to put in the dressing. Contrary to popular belief, cold. Maybe it's just me that during the holidays sneaks into the refrigerator, and I will pop that lid off of those black eyed peas every time and eat a spoonful. I don't know why. Call me weird. I like to eat them cold. So already I was like, yep, see, you were in, now you're out, chef. That's it. Um, Fiber,
Protein.
right? Protein.
Plant-based protein as well, kind of like any beans. So if it's black beans, skinny beans, pinto beans, black eyed peas are also a really good source of protein.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so for this dressing, I know on your recipe it says, what does it say? Red wine vinegar or balsamic, I think. You can use any vinegar that you like. I'm going to use apple cider vinegar because people like it, and so do I. And I feel like it's apple and the beans and the veg, it all goes together. I like it. So I'm going to do that. Extra virgin olive oil. The reason that I like either regular olive oil or extra virgin specifically on salad dressing is because if you buy or you spend a little bit extra on a really nice olive oil is because you want to taste. As soon as you cook with it, then you can't taste all of those. So if you're going to buy a really nice olive oil, extra virgin, then use it in salad dressing.
And
Okay.
extra virgin has a lower smoke point as well. Is that correct?
Correct. Thank you for saying that. See?
It burns a little easier.
Correct. So that's another reason why you want to use it for salad dressings or just low heat applications, because once it burns, it doesn't taste that great. Okay. So my oil, my vinegar, to make salad dressing or to make it so that you don't have to shake it every time, you need something that's going to emulsify. And that means just helps the vinegar stick to the oil. So for that, I'm going to use a little mustard. That works. If you don't like mustard, you can just shake it every time and then it'll do the same thing. I think this had a little basil herb that you're partial to in there. I have a little oregano, so I'm gonna add a little oregano to it. Again, this is just a base, so you can do what you want. I'll put a little garlic in there. You can do a little onion in there. You can put a little dash in there if you feel like it. So my favorite way to make a dressing is to use my little immersion blender or my stick blender, and then just put it in a tall container and just zzz, all together. That is an accurate sound effect.
What could you use instead of a immersion blender?
You could use a regular blender. You could use a food processor like your Cuisinart or something like that. The cup is that cup was a little bit taller. You could use that. Anything, or if you don't have any of those things, you could just whisk it all together too. See, these are great questions. You sell yourself short, friend. This is great.
Just
Ah.
anytime, oils are involved in cooking, I always just like to say, make sure we're not being super heavy-handed, right? Olive oil is definitely very heart healthy. Right? It's good for your cholesterol, it's good for hormones, all that stuff, right? But any oil, olive oil included, avocado oil, whatever it may be, right? It is very calorie dense, right? So if we get carried away with that, either in the recipe directly or cooking, we're not careful, right? The calories can add up very, very quickly, right? So let's just say we're making dinner, right? And we're using olive oil. It is very realistic to accidentally make a quarter cup without realizing, right? Now you're looking at 400 or 500 calories in just oil, right? So just make sure we're being careful. Yeah, so fats are involved a lot in hormone production, okay? So it being a healthy fat. So you need fats in your diet, right? So olive oil being one of them, right? And essentially being a heart healthy fat with producing HDL cholesterol, right? Also involved in hormones.
Okay. Bing. All right. So I've got my garlic in there, as much or as little as you like. That was like a clove and a little one. Okay, I'm going to apple cider vinegar. Yes, with the mother. That's important. Okay. So I've got my little Dijon. You can use whole grain. It always does that. Hate that. They're the worst. Okay. Okay. Just a little goes a long way to emulsify. Okay. And then I squeeze a little of my olive oil. So I was at my favorite spot, Aldi's, and I noticed that they are now selling, and you see I had to get one, olive oil in the squeeze bottle. So there's another brand that has like a drizzle, they call it a drizzle and a frizzle, Graza oil, and it's kind of expensive, but the Aldi's one is not. So thank you, Aldi, again. Okay, a little of that oregano. Okay, also a little dash because I like it.
Does anybody know what DASH stands for, the acronym? Dietary approaches to stop hypertension. So or some of you may have heard of the DASH.
Sneaky. I like it. All right. Okay. Got everything in there. Blend that up, blend that up. Sweetness, you could add a little drizzle of either honey or agave or something like that, a little sweetener. So kind of take the edge off of the little goes a long way. You just want to cut it.
I am going to be that same person. I have to look at oil, right? Even though, we're using honey, agave syrup, and you so be careful with how much you use. Your box is honey and agave, maple syrup, same way. Okay, so it affects your body pretty much the same, right? So we do want to be careful about that because that is just another area where calories can start to add up if we're not being careful. Right, so that is a big misconception with honey, agave, that stuff is it's better things. So just be careful.
So one thing that I would add along with that is it doesn't one for one. So if you had like a tablespoon of sugar and a tablespoon of honey, the honey is going to be way more intense. So just kind of keep that in mind when you are swapping out. Oh, I'm just going to use this instead. Even like Splenda. If you say like, oh, okay, I'm not going to use sugar, I'm just going to substitute this same amount in Splenda. It's way sweeter, 7 times sweeter, even though the bag says 1 for 1. That is not true. It's intense. Okay, so for science, that's good. Okay, it's got tang to it, which is what we want. In the summer, it's hot. I don't know why I want pickled things more in the summer. I don't know if there's like a scientific reason for that, or it's just because I want it. It feels refreshing. I like mayo-based salads. Great. It doesn't, I just don't feel as like blah after. So if you notice, I've got the black eyed peas. There's a little green beans in there too. That works. There are bean salads too, where it's a whole new world. Okay. In my little bag of chopped veggies, I have bell peppers, I have a little red onion, a little celery, all the colors of pepper because we eat with our eyes. Right. I also have some cherry tomatoes cut in half. That also, at the farmer's market this time of year, if you've been diligent with your garden, then the tomatoes might be coming up, maybe. If you started it like way, way soon in the spring, I did not. So get this out of, I always do that. And then I cover up the bowl and I'm like, oh, did you see it? Nope, we did not, as a matter of fact. Okay. So I just kind of give everything a little toss first. Okay. So in my black eyed peas, I just cooked them in, I just did a little water because I needed to cook it because I knew I was going to put flavor in the dressing. But if you wanted to, you can veggie or meat protein or whatever, but just be mindful that if you add like a chicken stock or any kind of smoked meat or anything like that, kind of just for flavor, that flavor is also going to be in your salad. Okay. So my dressing doesn't take a lot. And this is one where the longer it sits, the better it tastes because that flavor starts to soak in. And it's colorful and it's vibrant. And if you wanted to, you can also put a little parsley in there too. If you wanted to, I'm gonna add a little, well, no, I have red onion, so I don't need the green onion, but any other greenery that you like. You can also kind of play around with the peppers. So if you're starting to grow peppers and you have a little hot pepper you want to chop up and put in there, put that in there. I like going to the international market because there's all kinds of, right? Hungarian peppers and long peppers and Cubanelles and this and that. Most of them are, pretty mild in flavor. The little ones, they call them like sweetie peps or little peps or whatever. Yeah, just use it up. This is a good one for zucchini, squash, chopped up small, goes in this too. Delicious. Okay, so I'm gonna try it for science. Okay. Just needs a little salt. Okay. So when I salt at the end, I always start high. So then it disperses. And then I give it a stir before. Haha, just kidding. Before I salt it again. I've had my feelings hurt more times than I can care to remember of over salting before I mix it. Okay. All right. Just want to let it get like 1 second more so that dressing can sit in there. Okay, I'll start the fritter and then I'll serve you the salad. Just want the dressing to soak in. Okay.
What is your opinion on the use of like sea salt versus table salt versus
Ooh, that's a good one.
Himalayan
Mm-hmm.
versus Celtic, all that stuff?
So different salts have different kind of flavors, different intensities. So I only use the iodized salt if I'm if I'm baking. But even that, I've kind of gotten away from it and just use sea salt or kosher salt, large or fine granule. The reason that I got away from iodized salt is because I hadn't used it in so long, and I don't know for what reason. I probably wasn't even at home. I was like visiting. And they had iodized salt. So I'm like, oh, okay, I'll just use it. It was so salty because I was using it the same way that I use the sea salt. And it was like the comparison of the honey and the table sugar. It was the same thing. And I was like, I messed up. I'm sorry. So kind of once I've gone to the sea salt side, it's hard to go back. I do like the flaky salt to like finish certain things. The contrast between sweet and salty, that's always nice. But yeah, I for me it's more of a kind of a flavor thing.
So, and with salt in general, I get that a lot, is there a health difference between like sea salt, salt? Research says not right. They all kind of seem to affect your blood pressure the same, right? They all seem to have pretty similar properties as far as what they do are concerned. So kind of like Chef was saying, really the use of different salts kind of comes down to personal preference. I will also say that usually something like a pink Himalayan is a little bit more expensive, something like a Celtic. So I don't know how much they
Yeah, I feel like the more work that's put in to gather the salt, the more they're going to make you pay for it.
Yeah, saying about a lot of things for sure.
That is true. Okay, so I shredded up my zucchini and some carrot, and you saw it was in paper towel. So that was just to soak up the excess moisture, right? So now when I make my fritter isn't going to be too overly wet in the batter, if that makes sense. So when I put the rest of my ingredients here, I just want it to all hold together. If there's still a lot of water left in the vegetable, as it sits, it's going to kind of put off that extra moisture. You put it in your pan. It won't stay as fritter-like. It'll be more cake-like, if that makes sense. So I want to dry that as much as possible. I know we asked one other class what to do with the inside of the zucchini if you're just grating the outside, just like right till you get to the seeds. You can still cook that. You can still roast it, put it in soups. You could put it if you're making vegetable stock, because after you chop up all these vegetables from the farmer's market, all of the scraps, I have a bag now at home of all of the scraps of all of the veggies that I chopped. Stick that in the freezer until you get a full bag. And then you put all of those veggie scraps in a big pot, fill it up with water, put some fresh herbs like thyme, I have a bay leaf, a couple more cloves of garlic, and you just let it simmer, let it simmer, let it simmer. And then you have vegetable stock from that. So it still can be used, the insides of your zucchini. Okay, so zucchini, carrot. I need a little whole wheat flour as a binder. You could use white, but you're really not doing the fritter because for the taste of the flour, it's just a binder. So, for that, you might as well just use something that's healthier. That's how I justify it in my mind.
Whole wheat flour is gonna have a little bit of extra fiber in there as well, so just
Yeah.
another beneficial nutrient then.
So however you can sneak that fiber in, just sneak it in. And it is a small amount too, just to kind of hold it together. A couple of eggs also for a binder and just kind of some more texture. And then Parmesan cheese because it tastes good. Because it tastes good. Okay. Let me get it in.
So whatever cheese you wanted to do, whether it be Parmesan, whether it be string cheeses, cheddar cheeses, little baby bell cheeses.
I like those.
See, we do want to be mindful of it, just because it does have some fat in there. You can't do all day, every day, but you can also do the same. A little bit of that is gonna be a great source of.
Okay. So I've got my skillet. You can also do this in the air fryer. I found it works.
Works
Okay.
well.
Works well. Does. There's a lot you can do in the air fryer that works well. We have to do another air fryer class. Okay. So I'm going to start with one egg because you can always add, but you can never take away. And it just depends. I think your recipe says 2 eggs, but if you got a jumbo egg or something like that, right? Then it changes things. I was doing a baking class last week and I was telling the students it's not in your head that sometimes when you bake, you're like, oh, I don't like baking because it's so specific. And then I did everything the same and it didn't turn out right. Sometimes the flour is old, sometimes it's new, sometimes you have bigger eggs. Sometimes the ingredients are not really the same every time when you think they are. And it's a trick. And I'm sorry. But don't stop baking. Keep baking, keep trying. Okay, so there's not an expiration date. While I'm talking, let me start scooping this salad. So it's not really an expiration, it's like a use by date. And we just had this conversation in the kitchen not too long ago as well. So the time that it takes a commercial outfit to mill the flour, get it in bags, put it on pallets, on a truck, into your store, that could take some months. That could take up to 6 months. The flour that's on the shelf could be almost a year old. Yeah. So kind of if you can find, I don't know many flours, I can't think of any off the top of my head that give you a when it was milled date, right? So going to a grocery store where you know that they're rotating the stock that they get in. If that store is not known for selling flour, like the convenience store, you probably don't want to get it from there if you can help it because not a lot of people are buying it. So they probably haven't stocked it in a minute and nobody is checking that date. There is some alternatives, or there are some alternatives of course, it goes back to that salt thing. It is a little more expensive, but it just kind of depends what you're using it for, how you're using it. I think it's worth it. There is a flour miller out of Hendersonville, North Carolina. It's called Carolina Ground. You can buy your flour online from them. Do you need another? Want to try it? Okay. Okay. You can buy from their retail shop and they'll ship it to you. You don't have to buy like 50 pounds of flour. You can get a little 2-pound bag, and they have all different types. And that one is yours too. They have all different types, rye and whole wheat and this and that. Okay, for science, that's good. They don't pay me. I just really like their flour. The whole wheat flour that I have is the Carolina Ground. The difference is it tastes fresh. It's kind of like the difference is if you've ever had fresh cornmeal from a mill and you bought a bag and you took that home and you made anything with it, if you never have, try it. You will swear that you've never had cornmeal before. It's like the Matrix. You're like, what? I've been living wrong my whole life. It's the same kind of feeling that I get when I use this flour. It is kind of like everything tastes different. And so then you just start questioning, like, wait a minute, I know what wheat tastes like, but this tastes a little bit different. I can't put my finger on it. It just, tastes a little cleaner, lighter. It has flavor, which typically you don't think about when you think about flour. You're like, okay. A lot of bread bakers like to use that flour because especially if you're making something like sourdough bread, right? There's only 4 ingredients in it: flour, water, salt, yeast. And the flour is the largest ingredient, so it should taste like something. So instead of, importing flour from halfway around the world, there's flour here. It's just kind of, you got to find it. Where is it hiding?
In your opinion, what flour substitute or what, alternative flour is the best option? Like almond flour, coconut
Oh,
flour?
yeah. So for this purpose, I would say almond flour, right? Coconut, you're probably going to taste it. And if you don't like that kind of extra coconutty flavor in the background, not like, oh, easy chef. I got a little happy on the cheese. Not like shredded coconut flavor, not like that, but you definitely taste it a little bit in the back. So almond flour, a little rice flour or brown rice flour. So just to kind of hold everything together.
What about baking?
Baking, ooh, that's a good question too. So using gluten-free flour mix is typically just a mix of the flours that I just said, like rice flour, little almond flour. Sometimes they put chickpea flour in there, but that has a strong flavor. And so they've done the work for you to figure out how much of which one. So without boring you too much, what makes regular flour as great as it is that it has the ability to stretch like a balloon. So then when the dough rises, because of the yeast in there, it holds that shape and it's nice and squishy. So when you take that away, the gluten, the protein that's in it, then everything just kind of gets heavier and like a little bit more dense. So you need to put baking powder in there, baking soda to kind of help it rise. Sometimes egg whites to help it rise. So if you can, just purchase the all gluten-free flour mix already done. Bob's Red Mill does a good one. King Arthur Flour does a really good one. And that's what I would recommend. Okay, so I'm heating up my skillet. Did I make a bean believer out of anybody? Kind of, sort of. You tried it. At least you can say you tried it. Okay, all right. A bean believer. Oh my gosh, that was terrible. Y'all gotta stop me. Like, that's too much. Okay, so everything's in there. That's it. Okay. So I know this is different than when you say fritter and what you're thinking, or at least in my mind, what I would think. Um, so it comes out more like, a little veggie pancake almost, but not a lot of like batter filler. It's mostly veggie. To go along with that, feel like also from a previous class, we did, here I go with the garlic again. We had like a little garlic yogurt sauce. So I'll do that for dipping. And it's Greek yogurt, protein, a little bit of garlic crushed in there, which makes it spicy, that fresh crushed garlic. A little cumin because it's smoky and that's nice. And then you could do a little citrus, a little lemon juice or lime juice. That works too. Okay. So I like to heat my skillet first. Then I put my fat. I'm going to use nonstick spray because we really don't like, you don't want to like fry these. You just want to cook the veggies. So we don't need to like deep fry fritter.
I think I've said this a million times at my job, but just because the label on the cooking spray says 0 calories.
Yeah,
it's
don't
not
trust
0
it.
calories.
Don't trust that.
And you can look on this right now. The serving size of one spray of
One.
spray is quarter check. All right. So because it is so small, the food company is immediately allowed for them. They're not always the most truthful with some of this stuff. Maybe because we'd like to think companies are being honest about this stuff. But
Mhm. Okay. All right. So, there we go. Just a little. Ta-da. Yes. Oh, okay. So I just take a spoonful, I put it in the pan, and then I really just smash it in whatever shape it is. That's the free form. I think it's yeah, whatever way you'd like to shape it up. It's up to you. You can like ice cream scoop it like in a little ice cream scoop. You want to try to get these on the thinner side so that they start to get some color to it. It cooks the veggie, and it doesn't take a long time. So sometimes if you scoop it too big, then it takes a little longer. I want to make sure that's cold. Okay. So while we're waiting on that, we'll just do a little dip.
Would you ever recommend adding something like a ground turkey or a ground chicken, anything like that? Would that be a good idea?
You know what? I've never tried it. I've never tried that.
Just thinking about adding extra protein.
For science.
How I operate.
You might do that. You know what I probably would do is because I'm such a kitchen nerd, I would serve these as probably like a side, and then I would cheat and like grill the
Yeah.
chicken or the turkey or whatever. Okay. So I've got this on medium. I don't want the outside to get too crispy before the inside gets to cook. The cheese starts to melt, right? The little bit of egg, all of that cooks. The veggies start to steam. So I just let it do its thing. On medium. Yep, you got it. Okay, so what else could you use other than Greek yogurt? I'm going to say it. Don't get upset with me. You can use cottage cheese. I'm not even looking up because I know somebody's rolling their eyes at me. I already know it. But you can. Okay, so how do you make it not cottagey and weird? Just same thing. Hand blender or, immersion blender in a regular blender, blend it smooth. It still has the same benefit if it's smooth. And I think manufacturers have figured that out. And I'm starting to see more small curd and essentially no curd cottage cheese, which I'm like, is that a thing still? Hmm? Yeah, like cottage cheese is having a moment. I never thought I would say that. Like, it's come a long way from from a bowl and 2 slices of tomato and or peaches.
Pretty much every dietitian that you'll ever talk to, we're all pretty much massive fans of either Greek yogurt or cottage cheese. They can be very low fat proteins, right? A lot of good gut bacteria, a lot of calcium. Sometimes companies may add vitamin D to it, so that could be a good source of vitamin D. Okay. And you don't really have to eat a whole lot to get a lot of protein. I think the standard serving size is around 2/3 of a cup. And that's anywhere from 17 to 23 grams of protein, something like that.
Okay. See, cottage cheese is not making me say it. It's here.
They're pretty similar. I
Good
would
question.
say that cottage cheese does tend to have more sodium in it. So that would be something that. Again, consistency of cottage cheese. So I'll leave you up with that, but just side by side. Cottage cheese.
All right. Beep. Okay, I'll get a couple more of these going before I pass them out and finish the dip. Okay, but we're good. We're still golden, still nonstick.
Have you tried these with any other vegetable?
Let's see. I've done squash for sure. I've done it with spaghetti squash too in there. That was kind of cool. That was different. I put in the summer I've thrown corn in there and peppers and just had like an all veggie fritter situation.
Feel like peppers and onions might not be a bad idea, something like.
Yeah, for sure.
Breakfast type fritter.
Mm-hmm. All right. Just kinda spread those bad boys out. Okay. And cook. And okay. I've got little garlic, little cumin. Okay. Little salt. And if I remember where I put it. So I found this really cool thing. Leave it to the chef to always find stuff that you're like, what? I wasn't even looking for that. But now after you find these things, you're gonna be like, dang it, Chef Q, I need that. Okay. Let me see if I can find it before I start singing its praises. Thought I had it. Yeah, here it is. Okay. So there is a spice company out of Asheville. It's called Spice Walla. They have a couple of restaurants that are really good. If you like Indian food, if you like Indian flavors, if you're not afraid to try, it's great. So one of their restaurants is called Chai Pani and the other is called Batiwala. And Batiwala is at Optimus Hall, okay, the food hall. Go in there, just try a couple things. You might find yourself like, okay, I can get with this. They have okra fries out of this world, out of this world, not slimy at all. It's not, you have to wrap your mind around this. They're crispy, they're thick, they're like shoestring. They put a little chickpea batter on the outside. Not too much though. They're fried. They're delicious. But they're great. They do the same thing with kale. Anywho, they also have this spice company, Spice Walla. They have a lime powder. I didn't know I needed it in my life, but I do. You probably could get by without it, but a chef is going to tell you, yes, I need that 10 times out of 10. So a little goes a long way. I like it the times that I open the refrigerator and I'm like, I thought I had a lemon. I thought I had a lime. And in fact, I did not. And it's there, ready. Use it for cooking. Oh, let's see. For baking, for beverages, cocktails and mocktails, all the things. Okay. All right. For science. Oh. Ooh. A little more of the liminess, slightly more on the salt.
Does it, I mean, obviously it tastes similar to like fresh lime juice.
It
but
tastes just like a fresh lime. If you would like to taste a little.
Sure. I'm game.
Excellent. Okay. So you can get a little spoon and then, yeah, and then taste some on the spoon. You're gonna be like, holy smoke. That tastes just like a lime. She wasn't lying. Okay. Yeah, maybe not the whole spoon,
Tastes like a lime.
just like a lime. And there's nothing else in it, just limes.
So is it like dehydrated lime?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Dehydrated lime juice. It's great. Okay. Are we ready to try? I think I have enough for it. 2, 6, 8, 2, 4, 6, 8. Yep. And then I'll cook the rest for backup. Okay. So if you would, if you're not interested in the sauce, let us know. But I think, it adds a little something. I'll just put it on the side so you can dip if you want. So you can taste it on its own first. Okay. Can do this. Do. Ah, okay. That. Okay. You know what I didn't do? Told you I do it every time. I didn't take pictures of the bean salad. Fired. Fired. Yeah, yeah. I gotta put some on a little plate and it will be good. I'm the worst. I will make sure I take a picture of the veggie fritter. Oh, Yeah, I feel like on the cooking, I got you. I got you covered. But take a picture of what happened, I'll fail you 10 times out of 10. Okay, go. All right. Let's see. Ah, peek. One, one. Okay. Oh, here we go. Okay. Okay. Ta-da. Okay. Did I get everybody? Okay. One. Right. Okay. Let's see. Maybe not with a paper towel. Man, I'm the worst. Do not hire me for your wedding.
Does it taste good? That's all.
Yeah, for the food, not for the photos. Not the photos. You're welcome. You have a utensil over there? Okay. I just have more spoons. Okay. Nick, I have some extra if you want to try one.
You want a board? All right.
Okay. Okay. How we doing with that? Frittery. Okay, so in the instructions, it also says you can add a little spice to that. So crushed red pepper or pepper of your choice, jalapeno, something like that. That adds a little more, flavor, something different. Okay. All right. I mean, I feel like I haven't been asking throughout this whole thing, but we've been asking good questions tonight. Any questions or any other questions while I finish up these last little fritters? Okay, so I knew when I was going to go in with my spatula that the straight sides was going to be my nemesis. So I like the slanted sides for flipping.
The griddle will be a good idea.
Yeah, if you have a griddle, yep. That's a good question. It's a great question. Okay. All right. So I use grated Parmesan. So you can just buy a block and grate it if you want. You could switch it out and use like Asiago. Any hard cheese will work. Yeah. So how are we feeling? Ready for the farmer's market? Do battle? Know what you're picking? Know what you're purchasing? Okay. My last thoughts before we go. I will say, plot out your farmer's market trips. I know the cost of fuel is not nice right now. So split it up, divide and conquer, work with a friend. Maybe one person goes to one market, another goes to another. So you can kind of divide what you have. If getting out is kind of getting a little too expensive, there are farm shares, CSA. So you can order directly from the farm. So there's a lot of local farmers that participate and they will put together a box. Either some of them just call it a half a share or a full share, and they can do it for the spring, the summer, or all seasons. And whatever they're growing, they'll give you a description of what's going to be in the box. And so you could get like an onion, two eggplant, a couple zucchini, and then some fruit, or whatever is in their box. But they're all pretty good about telling you what's in there. That's a good way to kind of just help save on some of the costs and also the variety of what is growing. I think I hate this moniker, but I love it at the same time that CRVA use. Charlotte's got a lot, but we really do. So there's lots of produce growing, lots of varieties, so that you don't get bored. Because sometimes I know for me specifically, when I stop cooking and I start eating things that I shouldn't, it's because I got bored cooking the same things, using the same recipes, and I was like, I'll just stop on the way home, and immediately regret, because it's not as good. So just kind of getting some ideas in there and plotting out how we're going to attack the market is the name of the game.
And I'll,
So-
and I'll add to that, if any of you are in our bariatric program, right, or just in different journeys with weight loss, weight maintenance, whatever it may be, right? Burnout is a very real thing. Okay.
Mhm.
And we all have really good intentions when we start something, but whether we can maintain them or not, right? That is the big question. Okay?
Right.
A lot of people, myself included, right? Variety is a big part of that. We're not robots at the end of the day. So if we need to change things up, right, just switch out things, and if that helps you, then definitely recommend it, right? As long, from what I like to talk about, right, as long as we're following the big picture of things, right, that's going to be the most important. So if you like specific protein, if you like specific vegetables, if you like specific types of carbohydrates, that's fine. As long as we're doing things well for us, right? That's going to allow it to be sustainable, consistent, so on and so forth.
Yes.
I love.
Okay.
When I. Like, how kids stuff. Is there a
Mhm.
website or something?
I feel like there's probably a website, 5 billion websites. You mean like what's in season and how to pick it? Mhm. Oh, that are dull. So there's a lot of different things. So when you go to the grocery store, typically everything is shiny because there's that food grade wax on it, and that's for shipping, right? So that's to preserve it, because the faster things start to ripen, then the bugs come out, and then the whole the whole shipment is gone. So that seals in some of the nutrients, helps protect the outside when they get bumped around in that. Um, it also kind of stops you from knowing how far along in the ripening process things are because it's shiny. Typically, you won't find that at the farmer's market. So you'll find a lot more blemishes, a lot more like, is this good? Um, Anytime that you have a question, I would say the farmers want you to shop with them. So you could always say, hey, could I try a little bit of that blueberry? Or what what I hate to say what's your favorite thing, but I'll ask like what's growing right now? What are you most proud of right now? Or what have I overlooked? Right. And they'll bring you or show you to like try this, try that. They'll tell you. I mean, I think some of the most honest people I know are farmers. Some of them will say, not this, not right now. Um, there is a farmer that I know that like stopped me. I was like, ooh, corn. He was like, not yet. I was like, valid. I'll be back. So they'll be honest with you. As far as like how to tell, if you can smell it, then it's probably ripe and it probably tastes good. It's hard on the outside, and like if it's bruised or if it has a little, like if it has film on it on the outside or not. That's kind of, it's hard to say because sometimes you can use that as a gauge, and then sometimes it's like, ah, well, these berries don't look like that at all, so I can't use that tip for this one. I think the best place to start is, what is it? NC, got to be NC.gov, I think, oddly enough. Got to be NC, and that will bring you to everything that's local, that's North Carolina, produced in the state. But what it also has is a growing map, which is nice. So then it is really easy to figure out, and it'll show you what's in season. So before you get to the market and you're like, okay, I'm going to get whatever berry, only for you to see that it is not berry season, but a vendor still has berries. 9 times out of 10, they got it from the same place that the grocery stores buy it from. That's kind of the surprise. So same thing for like watermelon, right? So now watermelons are growing locally, but you could have bought a watermelon like 3 months ago. You could have bought a watermelon in the middle of the winter. It wouldn't have come from here. It came from somewhere, but you don't know. So then it's kind of harder to know, is it fresher or closer to being ready or not? But if you shop and buy and try to buy in season and when things are growing, then you'll start to have more success. For sure, for sure. Got to be NC. And you'll see the, once you see it once and you see the little logo, you'll start to see it when you go to the grocery store. Like if you shop at Food Lion a lot, you'll see local and it'll be stamped on it, got to be NC. On produce boxes and bags, you'll see it. There's different grades like rices and things that are flour, whatever. Anything that's from North Carolina, it'll have that little got to be NC emblem on it. Seafood, amazing. North Carolina's got a lot. These are good questions. Y'all are bringing them today. Thank you. This is good stuff. Good stuff. Yes. Oh yeah. Okay. So the fritter, I would say, would be a side, unless you kind of the things that we talked about to bulk it up, to add a little more protein or a little more to make it more complete. But for sure, I would say as we made it, it would be more of a side, a tasty side. Yeah. Okay. So before we go, to entice anyone in the chat to come in next month, we're going to keep summer vibes going, and it's going to be summer bowls, because I feel like the last time we did bowls, it went really well, and it was like Chipotle night. And we didn't even try. It just kind of worked out that way, and it was great. So summer bowls, and I was looking up these recipes, and I was like, man, these are good. I'm going to try these myself. So egg roll bowl, which I've done before. I love it. So we're going to do egg roll bowl. We've got a shrimp and yellow rice bowl, which kind of mimics a paella, but is way faster, flavorful, delicious. And then the third bowl is a sausage and pepper bowl. So a little more Italian flavor, saucy, but with the spaghetti squash instead of pasta. So tell a friend. YouTube chat, tell a friend. So I think that's it. And we look forward to seeing y'all next month, first Thursday. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Y'all are a great audience.